The silver price is holding up pretty strong today. Where could the silver price potentially go in 2026? What are the most important things you need to understand if you're stacking silver or you're holding silver or you're considering getting some silver? Guys, we're going to talk about all of that in today's very exciting silver update video. So we have some massive news to talk about. Make sure to stick around to the end so you get all that alpha in today's video. As always, investing into any type of asset carries risk, so not financial advice. Do your own research, all that important stuff, and let's get straight into this video right now. So first thing I want to talk about is the price of silver, and I do have the spot price relatively, the CFDs on silver right here, and you can see it's actually holding up pretty well. So I think there was a big push to try and move the price way back down, but it's failed. It's actually holding up beautifully, and it's actually starting to form some levels of support and resistance on the technical analysis front. And we will talk about the real demand and the real physicality of silver later in the video, but just look at this spot price. Look at this. This is becoming very interesting. So $74 right there. Nice little patch of resistance morphing into support. And it held it right there before it dropped down and it got, pushed down to $70. But have a look at that. Bounced hard off $70 and then it got here again. And this $74 is a pretty important level of, support and also resistance. So right there, that is where we are live right now. In terms of silver price action in 2026, we could potentially see some crazy things. So not financial advice, but, $100, definitely within the realms of reality. Could we potentially see $150 silver? I think as the world gets a bit crazier, inflation heats up, and if you do have money printing, more economic and political risk and conflict risk, $150 becomes more and more reasonable. And then, potentially, if we did hit some crazy scenarios and things do go bad, for the economy and the state of things, this is where silver can really thrive. And this is where I don't think it's outlandish to potentially, talk about, maybe $200 silver, maybe $250 silver, right? These are definitely within the realms of possibility. And we will go into further detail in more videos on the channel later on as we kind of analyze silver deeper and deeper as this journey for silver unfolds, with some deeper analysis around those price targets as well. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see some of the deeper analysis around those bigger numbers potentially playing out for silver in the future. Now, having said that, what else is important to understand is there is an assembly of something new that I think people are not talking about. The mainstream media is not talking about. Have this on the radar. Guys, the silver army is beginning to build, just like out of Game of Thrones. Retail investors are piling into the silver market. The largest physical backed silver ETFs, silver holdings are up to 16,390 tons, the highest since July 2022. Total silver held by the funds has risen to 3,000 tons since February. By comparison, the February 2021 peak was 20,000 plus tons during a period of extreme retail interest in silver ETFs fueled by Wall Street bets. Overall, total known ETF holdings of silver stand at 24,551 tons, the highest since June 2022 after rising 4,933 tons since February. Retail demand for silver is accelerating, and I want to explain to you why this is important and why many other channels won't understand why that's important. And the reason is, look, when you have assets, and I'm not going to say silver falls heavily into this asset, but there are some assets that are purely based around community value, right? So community value, it actually, what I mean by that, it's almost like psychological. And look, the more people you have in the party, the more valuable it becomes. So I want to give you one explanation of this. And you think about like women. So if you got a wife, and maybe you've got a girlfriend, you want to make her a wife one day. I've got a wife, and one thing I did when I married my wife, when I proposed to my wife, is I gave her a diamond ring, right? And remember, women very, very much value diamonds. It creates a huge market for it, even though the utility side of it's not as high. The women out there, they, even though it's a shiny rock, it just creates an immense level of value. All the women compare diamonds, all that important stuff, right? And not saying you have to go off and buy your, wife a diamond ring or anything like that. It's just common practice, particularly in Western countries. But there's a lot of community value that kind of goes into, say, assets like diamond. And the thing about silver, and you'll see it with like meme coins and, meme stocks as well. So Wall Street bets, all that important stuff is, as you get more people in, it actually becomes much, much better for the asset because you almost get like FOMO, you get hype, you get all this good stuff coming in. That can cause an overshoot in prices in the short term. But I think the exciting thing about silver, and this is probably the most exciting reason, I'm really enjoying silver right now, and I'll continue to enjoy it in the future, is it's not just because this has got like a great community around it. It's because silver is literally a great asset for the times we are going into. So we'll talk about this later on. But we're heading into very, very volatile times. There is significant volatility in Europe. There is significant volatility in the USA. There is significant volatility coming out of China right here, right? Taiwan right here. And you know what's a great asset to hold during these times? Guys, silver. Silver is the asset. And the reason is, it has a huge industrial demand, right? There's a huge amount of industry that needs silver. Not only that, guys, you need it in the military too. So it's got the dual use of an economic and also like a military need. And that is the perfect storm, the perfect catalyst for where 2026 is going. So it's very, very important to understand that. What else is important to understand? Look, the next 24 hours, gates on the Dragon Kingdom of China will be closing. So China is making a strategic move right here to stop silver or significantly limit silver from leaving out of the country right here. So they don't want silver to leave China in 2026. They want to really limit it. So these guys are really smart. One thing you understand about the Chinese geopolitical strategy is, if you've played games like Command and Conquer or Warcraft 3 like I have, all those cool RTS like Age of Empires, these guys are huge on stockpiling natural resources, okay? So rare earths, silver's the next one that's trying to stockpile, and they're getting ready just in the event that things, kick off for Taiwan. So if Taiwan comes in and say China wants to capture Taiwan, there might be a blockade from Western countries, and then you have potentially, this is where Battlefield 6 comes into play, where we might have actual real conflict. This is probably the biggest one. This is the biggest one. So yes, we've had Russia, Ukraine, which is somewhat big, but China is the real bigger one because it hasn't really. We haven't seen a war out of China. Remember, China's got lots of tech. It's very big on AI, so it's a different beast, and it's got like 1 billion people in it as well. So factor that into your geopolitical analysis as well. But silver army is getting bigger. China is getting stronger. China is closing the gates on silver. This is also it's causing a very nice long-term excitement for the silver market. One thing we have to understand about silver as well, though, I want to put this in full context. Look, there has been a lot of suppression of silver in the past, right? It has broken out recently. You can see that clear breakout, but one thing we know is this is a manipulated market. So there are people out there who want to suppress the price of silver. They want to keep it down in the dumps, but the thing is, if you own the silver, you become the bank effectively, and you don't have to trust the bank as well. But then if you're the bank, the other thing about silver is you have to make sure your security is all good. So you don't want to really be telling everyone you own physical silver, all that type of stuff, because you don't want that. You don't want that type of attention. You need to keep your silver safe and protected, right? That's what you want, right? For silver. So keep that on the radar as well. So $75, we're moving back up in terms of price. There is a premium as well. So have a look at this. This is important to understand. So you have Shanghai premium dollars. I can't really zoom in well on this graph, but you can see it actually got up to $83. Almost like nearly a $10 premium, right? Between Western countries and Shanghai, China. So they are gobbling up silver in Shanghai, in China. They want the silver. They know where it's going. And remember, this is an asset. This is a great, asset, I think, for the future. So remember, the future economy relies on silver. I think it's a great long-term one. I'm not trading this in the short term. So I'm not trying to, buy these tops and these valleys and trying to short-term trade this. I am just trying to stack silver, get some fiat ready, convert it into silver, hold it, okay? I'm stacking. That's what I'm doing. And if you're a stacker as well, feel free to stack alongside me on this channel right here, where we'll talk about more silver analysis and geopolitical analysis going into 2026. But I do think, look, in terms of silver, I think the biggest thing to watch out for is obviously next 24 hours, China, gates are closing, right? That's closing. China, 2026, 2027. What happens with Taiwan, right? Are they going to stockpile even more silver? Will there be a silver shortage? China controls a lot of the silver supply. And, remember the future of Western economies, and even not even just Western economies, most economies out there, if they're going into, solar panels, they're going into, military equipment, they need silver. So this is a utility play. Remember, this is not just hype. This is not just the silver bros. This is utility. And that's why I like silver. And this is why silver is in my portfolio. Right, and this is why I'm going to be holding silver for the long term. So I actually don't have a plan to sell silver anytime soon at all. I'm not planning to take profits at $100. Not even planning to take profits at $150. I want to hold this in my portfolio for a serious amount of time, because I think it's just extremely valuable. I don't think it's going to get substituted away, and I like to have some exposure to silver. That's what I'm doing. If you guys got value out of this video, like. If you enjoy this type of analysis, subscribe. Shout out to every single one of you watching the video. Big shout out to Younger Pistachio. Big fan of holding silver, so physical silver. So shout out to you today. We'll have more updates coming up on the channel, but I really appreciate you watching. Go have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Economic Zeus signing out.